All right, this is the fraction review, part 6. We have been multiplying fractions. We just talked about how you can multiply straight across and then reduce, or you can cross cancel. Now let's check out this problem. 7/8 times 5 over 11. I look up and down real quick to see if these reduce, and these are both prime numbers, that doesn't reduce, and these are 1 apart, so they don't reduce. Now I look on the diagonal, 7 and 11 are both prime, so they don't reduce. And 5 and 8 also don't reduce. That's not prime, but it's not divisible by 5. So in this case, there's nothing we can reduce straight across, so we multiply straight across. 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 11 is 88. If there was no way to cross cancel, then this is not going to reduce. You can double check it. You can even, once you get comfortable with your calculators, type it in and it will reduce it for you. If it will reduce, you can double check yourself, but that's going to be your final answer. Okay. So let's try 5 over 6 times 24 over 35. Now, I can see on the diagonals here that these will reduce. This ends in a 5, that is a 5. If I divide both of these by a 5, this becomes a 1. 35 divided by 5 is a 7. Okay. On the other diagonal, I have a 6 and a 24. I can divide this by a 6 and divide this by a 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 24 divided by 6 is 4. So what do I have left now? 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 7 is 7. So your answer is 4 over 7. Okay, so let's look at multiplying mixed numbers. I know that there is a method for multiplying these as they are. I can also tell you that virtually nobody uses it. So what we do is we want to convert these to improper fractions and then multiply. So we're going to use our around the world thing to rewrite this. Remember, it's 2 times 2 plus 1. So that would be 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 halves times 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13 thirds. Okay. Now look at on the diagonals, see if it reduces any. 5 and the 3, those are both prime numbers. That doesn't work. 13 is not an even number, so that's not going to work. So we have no choice but to multiply straight across. 5 times 13 is 65. 2 times 3 is 6. Now, sometimes they're going to accept your answer like this, like when you're entering your answer in MyMathLab. You need to pay attention to there's usually a blue comment near the answer box. It will tell you to enter a mixed number or an improper fraction that's reduced. You have to pay attention to that. Generally speaking, if you start off with mixed numbers and you're doing a multiplication or even an addition or anything else later, they tend to want your answer in mixed number form. So let's convert this back to a mixed number. So we do 6 divided into 65. 6 times 11 would be 66, so that's too big. Or you could just do 6 times 6 is 1. So it goes in 10 times, that's 60, with 5 left over. So this is 10 and 5 over 6. And that would be your answer. Okay. All right. Now, a reciprocal. Reciprocals are two numbers that have a product of 1. That means they multiply to 1. Now, to get from one to another, all you have to do is to flip the fraction upside down. Now, we're going to talk about sign numbers, negatives, and everything else later. Reciprocals also have to have the same sign. Now, we're going to be dealing with this a lot more later. I put this in here for reference. So 2/3 and 3/2 are reciprocals. If you multiply straight across, you would have 6 over 6, which reduces to 1. If you think about multiplying and then cross-canceling, they're both going to cancel out. Same thing here, 24 over 11 and 11 over 24. This becomes really important because that's how we divide fractions, which we will cover in the next part.